Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and before we get too involved with the wrestling stuff, like take care of some personal things. Unfortunately had a loss I was made aware of earlier today before I went on the show. Donald Cody Jr., better known as Don in Terryville/Bristol, Connecticut area. Owner of Don's Music, and big influence on me, because if he hadn't opened up his store, I might never have taken vocal lessons. So, because that's where I met my vocal teacher, Jennifer Hill, through Don's Music. I took lessons, and like I said, big influence on me, because a lot of things kind of changed the direction of my life. You know, I was driving by on Route 6 in Terryville and decided to stop in, and then I think I inquired about vocal lessons, if I'm not mistaken. And like I said, changed the course of my life. I've had put out an album since then. Done many shows, live performances, and met my wife through one of those performances. So rest in peace, Don. He owned a few Vegas. I found out today, supposedly, that he had some Vegas buried in his yard. I don't think I was aware of that. He was a big time fan of Chevy Vegas, and I remember he had one he drove. He had another one I think was drivable, and he had like one or two for parts cars and storage, I think, if I remember correctly. But that was his whole thing. That's all he drove, and that's what he was into. So he loved Vegas, and I remember him playing with his band, and like I said, it was where I took my very first vocal lesson, and continued from there, was through his shop. So rest in peace, Don. That breaks my heart to find that out, and that's awful news. In the obituary, it said he died, I believe, unexpectedly. So I don't know if someone found him, or what the details are pertaining to that. He was 69. In my opinion, too young to die in this day and age. Was born in Maine. I remember him talking about his brother in Maine, and going up to Maine, which is kind of cool, because my parents were born in Maine, and I was, they were a Connecticut transplant, and now I'm a Tennessee transplant, so got roots in a few different places, but thoughts and prayers are going out to his family, and yeah, that's a tough one to take, and that sucks, but prayers are going out to him and his family, and hopefully they have consolation and solace during this time. So really sad to hear that. Last time I saw him was in Rockwell Park in Bristol, Connecticut. I think he was selling some albums of some mixed milk crates, I should say, and got to introduce him to my wife at that point. Yeah, real sad news. Really unhappy to hear that, but that's really too bad. What else we got going on? Show yesterday. Not yesterday. I'm sorry. Saturday, which was great. Got to play the Then and Now Flea Market, their 3rd anniversary. Had a great time there. Saw some familiar faces. Saw some new faces. Enjoyed meeting some new people, hopefully getting some new fans. Had some really kind, appreciative people, which was awesome. It was great. I had a great time, and it's always fun getting out and playing in the open air. And not yesterday, I keep saying yesterday, Saturday was an absolutely beautiful day, so I couldn't have asked much more weather-wise for Saturday. It was great, and had a great time. My son got to hang out with the owner's son, and got to meet some new people, and we got to hang out with a goat. One of the vendors there brought her goat, which was fun as heck. she's been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years, and excuse me. And it's always a good time. Always a good time. Brought out Charm, was the goat's name. So, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful weather. I know the last couple of years have been scorching hot, so it was dreadful. But I loved getting out again. It was great. Playing again, I definitely needed it. And I'm open to shows if anybody wants to book me. So if you're in the Western Tennessee area, feel free to contact me, whether through a DM or whatnot. But good time, and congratulations to them. Now it's a great place, and I know that we sold at least one item from our booth there, so that was cool. It wasn't it was productive, and it was profitable because people were charitable, I should say, or actually I should say giving with the with tips. So that always makes things a lot easier to take, and like I said, went off very well, and I had a great time thanks to Then and Now. Thank you very much. Let's see, what do we got going on in the wrestling world? We had on Raw, we had Gunther opening up the show. Randy Orton interrupting, because he was never legitimately pinned. The shoulders weren't down. So it looks like we're going to get RKO versus Gunther at Bash at Berlin. Next we had Kaiser versus Sheamus. I'm looking forward to that RKO versus Gunther match. I think that's going to be really good. That's going to be a really good match. Gunther's match has been great. And I forgot how many days it was, but something like crazy, like 75% or something of Gunther's time after being brought up from the NXT roster to the main roster. Like 3/4 of it has been as a champion, which is absolutely insane. It's crazy. Let's see. We had Kaiser versus Sheamus, like I said. After that, we had wow, my computer's just jumping all over the place. I'm sorry. Pete Dunne comes out with a shillelagh. I don't remember if I know there's if I'm not mistaken, DQ involved, so I'm not even sure who the heck won that match. It doesn't really matter because the whole point of it was to add more fire and add more of a storyline to the whole Pete Dunne versus Sheamus feud. So before I forget, I have my notes here. The Lucha Brothers and since I have no real other AEW news, heard about the suspension of Britt Baker, I should say, or where the Brittany thing came from. But we also heard that possibility, there's a rumors going around, Lucha Brothers are not going to re-sign with AEW and they're going to WWE. I like the Lucha Brothers. I think if they can adapt to the WWE style, they're going to be huge in that tag team division, and the WWE tag team division desperately needs tag teams, so that would be awesome. I would love to see either one of these guys, Penta El Zero or Rey Fenix, as solo competitors. I think these guys would absolutely just kill it as solo competitors. I think they'd be great. Both these guys are top talent, I think. I just hope, they've done a lot of stupid stuff on the indies and AEW. I hope that doesn't come back as injuries within WWE, but I think WWE's style and how much safer they are, despite what Tony Khan will leads you to believe, I think would be much more conducive to their careers at this point, and getting the respect and television time that they deserve, I think would be great. Let's see, where was I? Had some vignettes, I believe, about the Wyatt family debuting 11 years ago. That's crazy to even think about. Still, the whole Bray Wyatt thing still breaks my heart. We had a segment where Damian Priest calls out Finn Balor. Priest with a better promo. He's kind of bouncing back and forth between personalities. Kind of weird. I think he's at his best, and I know that Kevin Castle mentioned this on Wrestling Soup, and I agree with him. He's probably best off just sticking to himself, because he does kind of go between this fake Undertaker character, and then wanders back into this whole Puerto Rican badass kind of character, and kind of goes back to himself, and kind of vacillates between the different personalities, which aren't real consistent and coherent and cohesive within each other. So he's got to pick a lane, kind of. Like I said, I agree wholeheartedly with Kevin on that. And make it more cohesive, because when he's himself, and I haven't seen the documentary yet, I hear it's really good, but when he's himself, he's very personable, very charismatic, very likable, and I think he needs to bring more of that out, but and be himself, because if he's trying to be the Undertaker, I know he's a huge influence on him, is the Undertaker character, but please just be yourself, come out as yourself, because you're confusing the heck out of everybody, and I don't think he needs a belt at this point to escalate himself to main star status. I think this feud with the Judgment Day is gonna escalate him even further. Liv obviously is in the Judgment Day. We saw a picture of them that looked pretty badass with the Carlito looking mean again. I think that's gonna be good. Previous to this, he was a comedic kind of foil, but now he looks serious, and I like this new look Judgment Day. I think the weak link, as usual, is going to be Finn Balor, though. I don't see him. It's hard to say this because he created the Bullet Club, but it's hard to see him as a leader of a faction. I'm sorry, he just isn't charismatic enough to pull it off. He did some great stuff as Prince Devitt. Why can't he carry over some of that into this? A lot of times he just looks like he's going through the paces, going through the motions. I don't like that. Michael Cole makes a reference to Scatman Crothers. Way to stay relevant, Michael Cole. 99% of the audience probably did not understand that or get that. We had Lyra Valkyria versus Shayna Baszler. DQ via interference. This is just kind of making this to put the Damage Control versus whatever they're calling this new faction with Shayna Baszler, to get that over and get that across it. CM Punk cuts promo. Of course, we had in the ring, Seth Rollins comes out to confront Punk. Drew interrupts. We're setting up more drama between the three of them. This feud isn't over by a long shot, and I didn't expect it to be. Let's see, when with the whole thing, Punk goes after Drew, which leaves Rollins in the ring. Bronson Reed comes out and attacks Rollins, and Reed lays out Rollins, and he just keeps going nuts with the splashes on him. And this did a lot for Bronson Reed to elevate him to a top tier and finally break him out of that mid-card status, because he just absolutely destroys Rollins. I mean, they did the whole internal bleeding gimmick and everything, just crushed him and made it look awful. So this obviously elevates Reed. We had New Day against the Final Testament, that with Odyssey Jones coming out for the save because they're putting the beat down on New Day. So apparently Odyssey Jones is kind of the replacement of Big E. I hear Big E had blesses and actually had been training Odyssey Jones. Nobody called this. Nobody predicted this whatsoever. So this is a nice surprise, but kind of got the side eye from Xavier Woods. So is the dissension coming even more? Is it going to be Kofi Kingston with Odyssey Jones and then Xavier Woods joining the Final Testament? I'm not sure. But we had Odyssey Jones making his WWE debut, which is a giant surprise for everybody. Awesome Truth versus A-Town Down. I'm going to have to speed through this, unfortunately, pretty quickly. A-Town Down wins. We had Damian Priest versus JD. Finn attacks Damian. Judgment Day beats down Priest. Rhea comes out, make the save. People are losing their absolute minds at this point. Dom saves Liv after Rhea starts getting her hands on Liv. I didn't think this was going to happen for a little while. I didn't think Rhea would get her hands on Liv until much later. Rhea and Priest look like giant babyface at the end of this. They clear the ring together of all the Judgment Day. Let's see, we had Io Sky versus Sonya Deville. Io Sky wins, prolonging kind of the feud. I'm kind of surprised with that because Sonya had been a little tiny bit of a streak there. Segment with Jey Uso and Sammy, rematch for the Continental title next week. Jey and Sammy, we got hinted teaming up, take on the Bloodline. We had another vignette from the Wyatt Six, this time with Joe Gacy. We had American Made is what they're calling Chad Gable's new faction. They come out. Both, obviously, we have I shouldn't say obviously, but we get the 6-man with American Made versus the Wyatt Six, 3 members of it. There was one upside down move by Gacy on the turnbuckles I liked, which looked really cool, looked sick. It was kind of a reference to Bray Wyatt. I like it. Wyatt Six beats American Made, had a real great moment, and we finally got to see a Wyatt Six in the ring, and they look good, you know. In the ring, once again, unfortunately, keep wanting to call him Redbeard, but you know, I keep thinking of his indie name. Sorry, but Eric Rowan kind of looks like the weak link. He is kind of the in-ring weak link of this thing, but he was obviously essential to the Wyatt family and needs to be there. And he's the big heater, so. Looking good. You know, looking real good in the ring, and I'm excited to see some further stuff, and it's about time they brought them in the ring to do some work. And great episode of Raw. They're calling this one of the best episodes in years, and it was one of the better episodes I've seen in a long time. And a lot of happy moments, a lot of stuff that appease the fans, so to speak. We had SmackDown Tulsa, Oklahoma, if I could speak. Cody Rhodes opens up the show. Of course, Bloodline interrupts, you know. Apparently, at least in storyline, because Cody made a reference, is that Jacob Fatu's leg is actually broken. I don't know if that's legit, but Cody basically accused, basically pointed to the fact that that's Solo's fault kind of thing. Kevin Owens comes out for the save when the Bloodline interrupts the promo. Cody announces that Kevin Owens is, I should say, that Cody is going to defend the belt against Kevin Owens at Bash in Berlin. KO initially does not want any part of this. We'll get to what happens later. Street Profits versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Street Profits wins. KO in the back with Nick Aldis and Cody. Basically, Cody's trying to convince KO that he is the legit contender, because KO says that there are a lot of other people that deserve a shot at this in the back there, and yada yada yada. It wasn't until Aldis says then that he's going to give the title shot to Roman Reigns. KO cuts a great promo, impassioned promo at this point, basically saying why him kind of thing. You know, this is the guy, and he reminds of all the crappy stuff that Roman Reigns has done in the past, and cuts a great promo on this. So it looks like it's going to be KO versus Cody Rhodes at Bash Berlin. Sorry, I got something going on with my one good eye here going. We had an Albert Fry versus Jade Cargill after this. Jade wins. We had a attempted beatdown at the end with a save from Naomi. Obviously, I prolonged this feud between Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair and the Unholy Alliance. We got to see Lou Ferrigno and Giannis. That was cool. I haven't seen him in a long time, years. So it was great to see him on camera. I love Lou Ferrigno. Let's see. We had my computer's screwing up. We had LA Knight coming out to celebrate the U.S. title win. Santos Escobar interrupts him. Andrade comes out to confront Santos Escobar. They have a match for the number one contender match. Santos Escobar wins with a little fuckery, unfortunately. I want to see Andrade win. I really would like to see an Andrade versus LA Knight match, but 'tis not to be, at least not now. Because I like Santos Escobar, but I don't know, he just doesn't have the presence enough for me, I guess. And it makes sense, I guess, that they would put him in there. But I'd like to see. I know it's a mid-card belt, but I'd like to see a little bit more of an upper tier opponent for him, because I think that's a definite step down from Logan Paul. We had a tribute to Kevin Sullivan. Unfortunately, Kevin Sullivan died. I don't know how I feel about this. I was a fan of Kevin Sullivan's a long time ago. I don't know enough about the guy to kind of comment on it. He obviously knew his affiliation with Chris Benoit. Unfortunately, Chris was part of a gimmick that Kevin had him in that had a woman aligned with Chris, and eventually both of them got together and got married, and that's kind of one of the biggest things I remember from Kevin Sullivan. That was a Dungeon of Doom, among some other gimmicks, and great wrestling mind. Really, some deviant, extreme stuff he's done. Like I said, I'm gonna have to explore a little bit of his history to kind of remember, but it's always sad to see a wrestler go, and it's always sad to see such a great mind from the business go. DIY versus Pretty Deadly. DIY wins. Bloodline comes out to the ring. We had a Giovanni Vinci vignette, which ran. Solo's getting booed out of the building. We had a Roman Reigns music hit. Place goes nuts. Roman comes out and pretty much took out Tongalo and Tama Tonga single-handedly. Solo retreats. Roman gets in the ring with Solo. Lots of Roman chants. Solo gets pulled out of the ring before Roman can hit him with the spear. He leaves a lay in the ring, but eventually, like I said, Solo escapes. Chance of OTC. They're loving this new gimmick. And then place goes nuts, and we kind of end on that note for SmackDown. Raw's probably going to be a fun show tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I got about 4 minutes left. So once again, thank you everybody that came out to the Then and Now show. It was awesome seeing everyone. It was awesome getting out and playing some music again. I'm looking forward to doing some more shows, some more venues. Check out Then and Now, please do. Check out Then and Now for a lot of stuff, a lot of different vendors there, some homemade stuff. We have a booth there. It's a great place. The owner's awesome. So check them out in Trenton, Tennessee, if you're in the Western Tennessee area. Even if you're not, make the drive. Just kidding. Check us out on CrushingKayfabe.com. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Patreon. For $1 a month, you can get each episode ad-free. You can get the audio or the video, whichever one you prefer. And check us out there. And as usual, thoughts going out to the Ukraine, going out to Israel, and once again, thoughts and prayers going out to the Cody family, and we'll miss you, Don. That's about all I have time for, unfortunately, but, God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next week.